So, after Saints Row 3's departure from the series' roots, many fans were desperately praying that we'd see a return to form. Little did we know Volition had something else in mind. Basically, they said f it and went full on bonkers. Yeah, my name's Starsense and this is Saints Row 4. Oh, we are in for a wild ride this time. You see, while Saints Row 3 was as confused about its identity as the average Twitter user, SR4 knows exactly what it is, and that's a game filled with absolute madness. It came out in 2013, and if you thought the third game was a betrayal, then you probably weren't too happy with the evolution from a gangster game to a superhero game. Even I was skeptical at first, but putting that fact aside, was this game any good? Let's talk about that. The first thing that differentiates the tone in this game is the inclusion of a narrator during key points. Her name is Jane Austen. Oddly enough, I kind of enjoy it. It adds a dramatic tone to certain parts.
Were the Saints sociopathic killing machines hell-bent on destruction?
So after the events of SR3, we find ourselves on a mission to stop a terrorist named Cyrus Temple. That's right, the boring prick, former stag leader. Alongside us is this new girl named Asha, who is kinda there.
Is this a counter-terrorist operation or a Saints flow shoot?
Pierce, just as he was in Saints 3, so still a meme.
Shit, players, save yourself! Fuck that, save me!
And Shandi, who is also our SR3 persona, but not exclusively. You'll see what I mean. We watch the boss be a total badass for a moment before we're given the freedom to get a feel for this game. So the movement and combat are just as they were in SR3 with the exception of the superhero stuff. We'll get there. I really enjoyed how the last game felt, so I won't repeat myself from that review. One of the changes is that we don't regen health anymore, but instead enemies drop pickups. I guess that's okay. The weapons, though, are the best in the series. They have more recoil and weight than before, and the variety has been greatly improved. Now with the generous blend of realistic and silly. We can even skin them to look different. I love the way all these guns feel, and the majority of them are new, except this thing, again. Volition just couldn't help themselves. Even better is we get to individually choose how we upgrade our stats. So if you like the feel of the recoil, you don't have to give it up. The unique weapon effects are also separate, which is great because I don't care to use the gimmicky stuff. I know. Preferring realistic weapons in a game where you can do this. How dare I? Outside of weapons, the level-based upgrades return as well. It's pretty much the same as before. Now, one of the biggest complaints about Saints Row 3 was the inability to remove your upgrades. Surely they would have fixed that now, right? Wrong! You still can't remove upgrades! What the fuck, Volition? Calm down. So getting through the tutorial, we catch up to Cyrus, and he's killed through a cutscene, but not before launching a nuke at Washington, D.C. In an attempt to stop the missile, we latch onto it and risk our life to disarm it. After several years, this noble act lands us in the White House as President of the United States. Now that we're out of our gear, it's time to create the boss. The SR4 character customization is my favorite in the whole series. It's basically the same editor from SR3, but with some nice goodies added to it. Plus the faces look better. We can use more than one feature, change voice pitch, and the hairstyle variety is improved, now featuring more long styles. When it comes to the clothing, I find the variety to be way more appealing this time around. More interesting graphics on shirts and just overall better looking clothes. In SR3, I struggled to put together a bunch of outfits, but on here I keep making more and more. However, I'm not sure why they didn't include all of the clothing from the last game considering it's the same engine. I guess they were trying to not reuse too many assets and focus on quality over quantity, but it doesn't hurt to have extra options. Now, the boss herself is the same character from SR3 with the same VAs, but her personality is much stronger and I actually like her. She feels closer to a real person and is a bit more vocal. I'm so glad they fixed my complaints with her, and I really enjoy listening to her talk. She makes me laugh a good bit and has regained some of her snark. I love this improved boss and she's easily one of my favorite characters in this game. Still silly though.
Finally, a song I like. Come on, Kinsey, sing along.
No.
Kinsey, you're gonna sing for your commander-in-chief.
Now with our character made, it's time to pick up in the Oval Office. Hold up. Is that Benjamin motherfucking King? I can't believe they brought him back. That's awesome.
You're more fun as a gang leader.
We have a country to run. Fun isn't part of the equation.
Wait, is that Terry Crews? And our Vice President, Keith David, is actually the voice of Julius from SR1.
I'm nothing like Julius.
Oh, this game is off to a great start. One thing you're going to see a lot of in this game is references to the classics.
There's a septic truck when you need one.
In Saints Row 3, the boss hardly acknowledged the events of the first two games, so it's spectacular to see that isn't the case here. She regularly makes comments on her past and the game is filled with throwbacks. Sure, the gameplay is nothing like the OGs, but it's fantastic to see the story finally linked together. We make a few important calls and bump into Kinsey. She has a much bigger role in this game and serves as our guide, due to how much tech will be involved. I would say her character is likable, but I'm still not her greatest fan.
Thank you. I mean it.
You're not wearing pants.
This just got weird.
What's very noticeable here is the story writing. In just the first half hour of gameplay, I've already laughed more than I did throughout my entire SR3 playthrough.
I'm your #1 fan!
They managed to find a good balance between serious and silly, and it flows naturally rather than, I don't know, forcing a zombie outbreak into the game. Okay, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but this game is actually quite hilarious and I really enjoy the jokes. That's not to say it's more grounded though. In fact, it's the opposite, because we immediately have an alien invasion ruining our fun as the president. We meet this game's antagonist, Zinyak. He's a tough alien with a love for music. This guy is not only intimidating, but he's also funny as fuck. While we don't get 3 different gang leaders, it's great to see a unique villain after the disappointment that Killbane was.
Oh, baby, you got what I need.
What the fuck is that?
And you
How is
say
he in the
he's
radio?
just a
What is up,
friend.
fuck, man?
And you say he's just a friend.
He commands his alien army to begin capturing all the humans. We run to the White House as it blows apart and each member of our crew gets sucked up. We try to take him on, but it's no use.
I'm going to have fun breaking you.
The next thing we know, we wake up in an old television sitcom like Leave It to Beaver and go downstairs to score some pancakes that our wife Shanti made us.
Morning, dear. I made your favorite breakfast.
Wait, the boss is gay? Alright, you get it, girl.
And someone named Dex stopped by earlier. I didn't recognize him, so I just sent him away.
Wow, what a tease. It doesn't take long before the boss realizes something is up.
What the
We don't use that kind of language here in Steelport.
Kinsey manages to reach us and helps us break free of what is revealed to be a simulation, just like the one we're currently living in. Zinyak isn't too happy about this and tosses us into another virtual world that's filled with anger rather than peace. After grabbing some weapons, we're let loose and free to explore the world of Saints Row 4. Wait a minute. Haven't I seen this place before? Yeah, I sure have, because they reused the map from Saints Row 3. I know, SR1 and 2 had Stillwater, but the difference is that map kicked ass, and the changes were sick. That's not the case here. Like, okay, they added some towers, whoop-de-doo. The only reason it kinda works is because we're gonna be moving around so quickly that we don't have time to notice the lack of detail, but it's still the same old Steelport, and it's shit. We have a couple of nice additions, I guess, like a secret Easter egg or two and some minor changes, but this version of the city has a lot of downgrades. There's no day-night cycle, again. Instead, the time of day changes throughout the game and you unlock the sunlight after you beat the story. This kinda sucks, but I did enjoy seeing the lights change to blue whenever we take over an area. The lighting isn't anywhere near as pretty though, and everything looks drab. The overall graphical aesthetic just isn't as pleasing. While the visuals have been bumped up a little from the OG SR3 with effects like depth of field and so much bloom that it begins to look like a Nintendo remake, the actual style of the city is worse. The warmth is gone and it's left feeling very digital. Vehicles and walls flicker like an old VHS tape, the water is atrocious, the sky and lighting feel cold even after unlocking daytime. I get they wanted to make this feel like a simulation, and they do succeed in that aspect, but it results in a world that doesn't feel quite as cozy to spend time in. We also don't have any weather effects. All we get is this lava rain when fighting wardens. These are cool events, but they get extremely repetitive. At least SR3 had several variants of mini-bosses. There's not much else to say about the enemies, it's pretty basic. Only cops and aliens. Without gangs roaming around, causing chaos is less interesting. To wipe notoriety, we have to catch the golden snitch. Yeah, like Harry Potter. This game is filled to the brim with pop culture references, so you'll see a lot of that. As for the pedestrians, the only notable difference is they can be spotted in stores, and they glitch out a bunch. Another problem with this new Steelport is the cribs got knocked down. This game does not have safe houses. They thought it'd be a good idea to remove a series staple and replace them with these awful gates that sit out in the open. Why couldn't they at least put these in interiors such as Kinsey's warehouse or the broken shillelagh? I get that losing our cribs goes with the lore of the story, but it'd be nice to get them back after we beat the game. Why do the Saints have to be homeless now? May as well have a cardboard box instead of a gate. The closest we get to a crib is our spaceship. There's not a whole lot to do on it though, other than view collections and have sex with our crew in a cheesy Mass Effect spoof.
You don't have to die a virgin.
Can you call me Nightblade?
Are you fucking serious?
And of course, no cribs also means there's no way to replay missions or cutscenes. Another SR3 complaint ignored by volition. Great job, guys. Fortunately, every major problem I have listed can be fixed with mods. SR4 actually has the best mod support in the series, sporting full Steam Workshop. This is definitely the Saints game to play if you're the type that loves tinkering with mods, and they go a long way at enhancing the replayability. You can improve the visuals, add cribs, mission replay, gangs wandering the streets, and countless quality of life features. You can even mod in new clothing and weapons. That is, if your game will even run. The PC port is awful, and a couple of my friends had constant crashes until they limited their CPU cores to just 2. Kinda pathetic. Fortunately, it worked alright for me, but there's major bugs that have been there since release. Some are hilarious though, like this invisible vehicle bug. Speaking of vehicles, our next mission has us driving to the destination, and yeah, they perform great. The customization is still good, but it doesn't really matter considering our objective has us collecting data clusters that grant superpowers. Yes, saintsrow 4's big gimmick as well as the reason it turned off so many people is having said superpowers. I wasn't a huge fan of the idea at first either, but I can't deny that this is way too much fun. Is it saintsrow? Fuck no. But is it awesome? Absolutely. You can dash around faster than a supercar, launch high into the air and glide, run up walls, and even use all kinds of abilities like freeze and stomp. The superpowers are a huge game changer and they're a ton of fun, but the powers come so prematurely into the game that you'd think they were a 13-year-old boy. I really would have preferred if we were given them later in the story, or even better, an option to turn them off. Being able to roam around in both the traditional style and the new superpower style would greatly extend replayability. Yet another problem that depends on mods to fix. Gotta love when all these AAA developers rely on fans to fix their shitty broken games. On the plus side, we can't use our powers in a large amount of missions, so we get to enjoy the traditional style a good bit. We do get a pretty nice perk from having superpowers. On-foot radio. About time. They removed the metal station, and the commercials are watered down, but there's a good selection of tracks here. I loved Gen X, K-Rhyme, and The Mix. So much good jams. I remember being fond of the new station Mad Decent back during my dubstep phase.
No dubstep.
They brought back the reggae station too. Hell yeah. The original music is just as good in this one as well. Incredible mission tracks, plenty of awesome new fanfares, and even weapon music to jam out to. To test out our new abilities, we're then forced into an activity. Yeah, once again this game puts activities into the storyline. But it only happens a few times and it's okay because they're a blast. In fact, I don't really find any of them boring. We get multiple variants of mayhem, insurance fraud is the best it's ever been, and they brought back a new version of Fight Club. I really like Blazin', as simple as it is. We also get these rifts that are like activities designed to test our powers. They put in the Sonic 2 special stage. Sweet. There's also tier ranks on the activities giving you extra incentive to replay them. They're really consistent here and each one is pretty good. Kind of a minor thing, but I like how starting an activity no longer plays a loading screen. It's very seamless and makes these feel more like an extension of the world. As for the diversions, well, we have all the same ones from SR3. Chop shop, hostage, store robberies. You know the drill by this point. But we actually have a lot more to do in the world. There's towers to climb, hotspots to take over, and the business system has been replaced with hacking stores through puzzles. I like it. We also have useful collectibles. These addicting data clusters and audio logs that give us lore from a ton of old Saints characters.
We had the boss and we had Johnny Gat. What more did we need?
They're a real treat and it's a joy to hear more story from the series. SR4 greatly expands on the open world activities over 3, but it suffers the same fate. A lot of this stuff is one time only, so after you've completed everything, there's not much to do. Unless you want to keep ruining friendships in the PvP cat and mouse game. It's actually kind of fun. The co-op experience has been improved. The characters talk to each other more and missions are a little better tailored to supporting 2 people. But it's hard to recommend it due to how horribly unstable SR4 on PC is. The co-op experience only amplifies the crashes and bugs. But if you can get it to work, then the missions are best with a friend. And mind you, these missions, or quests now, are yet another series favorite for me. They are so creative and high quality, mostly due to all the simulations we traverse. We see old places again from Steelport and Stillwater. We have tons of minigames, and a variety of gameplay styles. There's also a bunch of side quests, and we get to select what we want to do. A lot of them require us to do diversions in the town for special rewards, but there's unique loyalty missions with every character. Saints Row 4 may get a lot of shit for reusing the map, but it completely delivers in the mission department. Even if you're not into superhero stuff, it's worth playing for all the references to the classic games.
Well, if it isn't the Stillwater default player.
The gameplay is different, sure, but I like this. I'm sorry, but I really enjoy this game. It's way too much fun. And you know what? The story is good too. So let's pick up after we obtained our superpowers. We exit a door to break out of the simulation and awaken deep in Zinyak's spaceship. Starting to sound familiar? Yeah, Saints Row 4 is the best Matrix game ever created. If you haven't seen that film for whatever reason, definitely watch it before your next playthrough. There's countless similarities. So Kinsey meets us in the outskirts, and it's never explained how she got free. But together we fly our way out of this place. Oh, this is my jam! What a way to kickstart the game. Once we're safe, we call Oleg and Josh, but they don't answer. And that's the last time we see them because this is the part where I tell you spoiler warning because something big is about to happen.
It's all gone.
I'd say this was a productive day.
Fucking monster.
I told you this would happen.
Wait a sec. If the Earth is destroyed, that means no Oleg, Josh, Viola. Who's even left? Oh no. Unbelievable. We plug ourselves back into the simulation because Volition wasn't gonna make another map, and disrupting it can help us track Zinyak and our friends. Our goal is to get the band back together and kill that asshole. We start with an AI named Sid who is supposed to help us out, but we know the real reason. He's a horny little robot.
I am curious why it is you chose a metal basketball for my shell.
Come on, it's cute.
I have personality. I do not need to be cute.
After he's done performing cunnilingus on the boss, the first person we rescue is Matt Miller. The boss picks him to help out Kinsey with all the tech stuff. I actually like his character more now.
You don't get excited about setting up the Nightblade nativity every year?
We travel through his simulation, which is a cyber realm filled with mini-games like text adventures, and we're then given an option to save him or end it all. Naturally, I chose the more dramatic approach. And that's it. That's the end of Saints Row 4. Okay, fine. We rescue Matt Miller off the ship and help him out in writing the ultimate Nightblade fanfic. Okay. Kinsey gets a hold of another simulation that's on the Morningstar plane where Johnny Gat died. The boss is convinced it's him and demands that we go.
Oh my god. Johnny's alive.
After a trip down memory lane, we see that it's actually Shondi's simulation. She's been forced to relive Gat's death as it plagues her with guilt. When we intervene, it causes the simulation to change and now we're back in Stillwater. Oh my god, is that SR2 Shondi and DJ Veteran Child? Fuck, that's so sick. You have no idea how happy I am to see the real Shondi back, despite her future self not feeling the same.
Get out. What's her problem? My problem? My problem is that I used to be you.
She even appears on the ship, but unfortunately you can't have hot phone sex with her.
Evidently, I've become a total frigid bitch, so I just wanted to know what's up.
We help both Shondi smash DJ Veteran Child and score some sick drugs, bringing back the light bulb. Next up, we're saving Pierce from the nightmare of Saints Flow. It sure is good to see the penthouse again, and it makes me sad that it's not in the city anymore. We take over the Steelport Monument to beat the giant Saints Flow, Paul.
Can't wait to get back to Earth.
Right, forgot to tell you. Earth got blown up.
What?
Pierce then takes us on a quest with a bunch of goofy radio sing-alongs.
I go to bed early.
And I party all night.
Okay, look, I gotta get real here for a sec. Me and Pierce, I know I've ragged on him the past 4 reviews, but considering this is the last time we're going to see much of him, it's time to come clean. I kind of like him, okay? I kind of like his character. There, I said it. Anyway, back to the plot. The end of this mission has us confront a simulated Marrow, and just listening to him banter with the boss and be taunted, oh, I started squealing like a fangirl.
Hey, Marrow, how's Jessica?
I'm going to enjoy killing you both.
I absolutely love all these throwbacks to the old games, which has me so excited for the next simulation. Saving Benjamin King from SR1 Stillwater.
Watches! I got watches here!
Oh, so much great references. Hell, even the camera is like the classic. This game is like a giant love letter to SR1 and 2. We save King from being repeatedly killed by Tanya.
You saved Matt before me?
And help finish her off for good. We also fulfill our dream to dance on stage during amateur stripper night. Asha is the Nexus save. I really don't care about this character. The nightmare she's forced to relive is an evil version of the boss killing her, all through a Metal Gear Solid parody. The boss struggles to go along with it.
Another light ahead. Take it out. Does this place not have light switches?
After she's free, we help her by being a security guard or something. Whatever. Now with our crew back... Wait, apparently we have one more to rescue? Johnny Gat? Hold the fuck up. They brought Gat back? One of my biggest complaints with the SR3 was him not being in the game. I really don't care what way they brought him back. Retconning his terrible death is incredible news. Just starting this mission, I couldn't sit still in my chair. I'm so happy he's back. And of course, he gets the coolest mission, which is this 6 Streets of Rage parody, where Gat is forced to relive Aisha's death. Upon rescuing him, we learn that Zinyak captured Johnny years before his invasion because he feared Gat could single-handedly stop him. That's so fucking cool.
It would seem your reputation doesn't do you justice. Earth's most passant warrior?
That's what he called me.
We get a wonderful wrap-up with Gat where we show him things he missed from last game. It takes place in the Genki activity from SR3, which makes sense considering that was the most notable part about that game. This is actually my favorite mission because the whole time you're fighting, the boss and Gat just ramble on. The boss may not be the same character from Saints 2, but they still have an awesome dynamic. It's so great getting Johnny back, and the boss even expresses how his death affected her, which resolves another SR3 complaint of mine.
She's not the only one who got fucked up by your death, Johnny.
Look, I know how you felt. I had nobody on my side in that fucking simulation. And half the fun of murdering is doing it alongside a friend.
It really feels like the power duo is back. We even get to watch Gat beat the shit out of Philippe. Also, I thought it was kind of funny that the boss says our nightmare is a cheesy sitcom.
Oh, you know, 1950 sitcom.
Because it's my nightmare too. Now with our crew back, it's time to go after Zinyak. We get ambushed in the simulation, and it's kind of awesome because our entire crew is in the world with us fighting together. Kinsey gets taken away before we realize that this was all a distraction as our real ship is being attacked. They found us because we were betrayed by Keith David. Is this really a surprise considering he's the reincarnation of Julius? Zinyak told him he can restore the Earth in exchange for killing the boss, but after being in a bit of a bind, Keith proves his loyalty and saves us. Maybe he isn't Julius after all. Zinyak punishes Keith by throwing us into a simulated parody of They Live, which the actual Keith David started. We get out safely and Keith helps us track down Kinsey, who is locked back in that 50s sitcom duking it out with Cyrus Temple. We free her and kill this guy for like the 4th time. I really don't know why they keep bringing him back because he's such a boring prick. We're now at the final act of the game and the crew is readying up to end this.
You can hit as hard as you want, because when I hit back, I'm gonna lay your ass out, bitch! It's our time now! Let's get this shit started!
We have to craft a key that'll enable our entrance into the Zin mothership. After using the key and disrupting the simulation to the point of total collapse, we make it on board his ship. By this point in the game, me and Gat are ready to kick some alien ass, so we fight our way through to a room filled with power armor. This suit allows us to use our superpowers in the real world, which is such a fantastic way to conclude this game. We soar through the ship and infiltrate Zinyak's throne room, initiating the final battle. He gets into a huge suit, but it doesn't prevent his demise. In the last brawl, we overtake him and rip off his damn head. Gruesome and awesome. The Zin bow to us as we become their new leader. Boss? You can let go of his head now. An alien named Zinjai meets us and informs us that we have access to time travel.
Let's go on a field trip.
After a celebratory dance showdown, the credits roll and reveal what events of the past we visit. I think it would have made more sense to go back and stop the Zin invasion from ever happening so that the Earth would be saved. But what do I know? Then post-credits, we finally meet the game's narrator, Jane Austen, as she too had been captured by Zinyak. And that's the end. I'm satisfied. I really enjoy the way this game ended. The experience from start to finish was really damn good. Of course, we do have a little more left. There's the Enter the Dominatrix DLC, where the characters break the fourth wall to tell us about the game's original concept as a standalone expansion for Saints Row 3. It's not very good, but Donnie returns in a Morpheus cosplay, and oh, of course they found a way to bring Zemos back. Great. There's also a thing with dinosaurs. Yeah, this DLC is kind of boring and makes no sense. We do get to see an old crib, skywalks, and use the temporary weapons again though. The other story pack is How the Saints Saved Christmas, where Shawnee comes back from the future to tell us we have to rescue Santa. While he was kidnapped by Zinyak, an evil imposter took his place. This DLC is actually pretty humorous and enjoyable to play through. During the story, we get to see the boss's transformation from a total Scrooge to someone with holiday spirit. It's actually really sweet. I absolutely love that they put Festivus in the game. So cool. We get a few beautiful new maps to explore too. I really enjoyed this one. Definitely the best Saints DLC ever. In conclusion, there's no easy way to say this. I really like this game. I know many people were expecting me to rip on it after I expressed my love for the classics. Saints Row 2 is without a doubt my favorite in the series, maybe even my favorite game ever. But the fact of the matter is I've had a wonderful time every SR4 playthrough. This game was a huge improvement over SR3 in almost every way. It astonishes me that Saints 3 gets so much more praise when it doesn't come anywhere close to this one. No, it's not our Saints Row. It's hardly recognizable and it feels more like a parody, but I can appreciate it for being a damn good time. I loved seeing old characters and environments again, and the new stuff was just as excellent. You've definitely got to play Saints Row 1 through 3 before this one to get the full experience. Saints Row 4 is such a huge departure from what was once a gangster game. It's pretty crazy to look at how radical the transformation has been. On one hand, it's sad to see what happened to such a beloved series. On the other, it's so bizarre and fun that I can't be angry. My biggest problem with Saints Row 3 and 4 is that they're called Saints Row 3 and 4. We were forced to accept that this was Saints Row. And now I wish that was the series' biggest problem. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. No, I wish to preserve the legacy that this series was. Whether you like the old or the new, it was fucking awesome. And I think it'd be better if fans from each side could recognize that instead of arguing and calling each other names for not having the same opinion. If you want to tell me that I'm not a real fan because I like this game, then I don't really give a fuck. I think more classic fans should give it a chance. This may not be the SR2 sequel that we wanted, but it's still a fantastic game in its own right. And for that, I love it to death. Alright, that's it for me, guys. I have more Saints reviews if you haven't seen them. Do all the stuffs if you want to help me out, and I'll see you in the next one. Love y'all. Peace out.